Welcome back. Now, Gail Schimmel has written a sensitive and sweet offering that introduces various topics in a way that is palatable. Her protagonist is famous, and from the outside, it looks like she has a perfect life. And her new friends each fit an archetype, but everything is not what it seems. Schimmel joins me here in studio to talk about her latest offering called The Park. Gail, thank you very much for joining me.
Thank you for having me.
Very quickly, for the benefit of our viewers, a brief synopsis.
Okay, so the book is about Rebecca. Rebecca is a new mother. Like all new mothers, she needs to get out with her child, and she goes to the park. And in the park, she meets a lot of mothers, and in particular, two women who will become very good friends.
Rose and Lilith.
Very quickly, yeah. Rose and Lilith. And they become very good friends very quickly, but both in different ways are not what they seem.
Look, you've created characters that are beautifully flawed, but they each have a perception of each other based on first appearances, and that gets unpacked throughout the book. Talk to me about Rose and Lilith and Rebecca in respective of their characters.
Well, Rebecca tried to write, and this was difficult for me, a really nice person. Rebecca is a really nice, good person. And she is fascinated in different ways by Rose and Lilith. Rose is a woman who appears to always be very open and very honest about parenting. One of the things in my book is being honest about how hard parenting is. And she's attracted to that. And then Lilith is a bit more mysterious, but Lilith in another way attracts her. And these people become very important to her, very much part of her support system.
During the chapters, you always have a reference about good mothers. Talk to me about that, the idea that good mothers do this and good mothers do that.
So it's difficult to talk about that because it's a plot device.
Yeah.
And when you get towards the end of the book, it all comes together. You discover what that good mother thing is about. But I think on another level, it's about that we have perceptions of what good mothers do. And as mothers, we know those perceptions you have all turn out to be false.
Yeah. When you look at those kids, any of your kids reflected in those, in Amy and the other kids, and Ruby May? And
I have two children. I have a son, Thomas, and a daughter, Megan. And the part that's autobiographical is Thomas is an IVF baby, so all the fertility stuff is autobiographical, but obviously my story ends in a different way. Yeah. But I think the difficulty of parenting, the fact that it's not what you expect. You think you're going to be this perfect mother, but it's hard. And that struggle Rebecca goes through is autobiographical in a sense.
You deal with a lot of issues: friendship, loyalty, acceptance, even identity. The themes are quite strong in the book. Was that conscious? Because that subject matter is real. We deal with that on a day-to-day basis.
It was conscious. You know, I'm a writer who writes a story. Yeah. I never sit down and think about the themes before I think about the story. The story comes to me and then the themes come out of the story. But I think while I was writing, I was very conscious. This is about women's friendships, and this is about the things that happen in that friendship, in those friendships.
I feel when I think of Rebecca, I think that, I think she's quite brave. And she's a pioneer in many ways. And yet she doesn't think that. I mean, if you think the fact that she walked up to Sean in a gallery and introduced herself, she wanted to adopt her baby when she couldn't. She's gone back and agreeing and even said to her husband, if this one doesn't work this time around, I want to make that decision. She's very brave, but she doesn't think that.
And I think that maybe is typical for many women, that many women are doing very brave things but think that they're just ordinary people doing ordinary things. And Rebecca is such a good person that she would never think of herself as the hero of the story. But she is, of course, the hero of the story.
Who are you? Are you Rebecca, Rose, or Lilith?
I am none of them. Very, very important to establish. I write only fiction. And Rebecca is far too nice to be me.
Do you know a Rebecca, Rose, and Lilith?
I don't. Obviously, I know pieces of them. All the characters, you know, I think all writers do this. We draw it from different places. I know women like Rebecca. Yeah. Unfortunately, I know women like Rose. I know women like Lilith. But it's bits and pieces. I know women like Lorata. She's one who very much, I think we all know a Lorata. You know,
outspoken, speaks her mind, and sees the cheese for what it is. And
strong businesswoman, but with a kind, compassionate side. So I think all the characters are people I know, but not people I know at all. Not people I know at all.
That disclaimer, Gail has to put out there. She doesn't want any calls. It's the author, Gail Schimmel, talking to us about her latest offering called The Parks. I'm going to tell you, it's a beautiful read. If you're a man, go and get it. And then read it first and then give it to your wife or your partner. Okay? Let's go to, where are we going? To break. Yeah, to break. Let's go to break.
After a horrific accident, major questions were asked.
So step one, I asked myself, do I really want to die? And my answer to that was, I'm not sure. And then step two was, do I want my parents to bury me? And the answer to that was no.
Learning kept his brain in full action on how the brain works.
When I was in hospital, right, as I was saying, to catch up with my peers, I started to become obsessed with memory techniques and how the brain works and how we retain information.
Touching lives is his continuous mission.
I now work for a non-profit where we deal with access issues regarding kids with disabilities and persons with disability. We're busy working on beach access.
Being wheelchair-bound did not stop fun in his life.
I party in a wheelchair, I laugh in a wheelchair, I smile in a wheelchair.
For all your uplifting stories, catch Bupilong every Friday.
Umphakathi wexwayiswa nga200 rand imbumbulu. Kepha labanye bathi akusuye 200 rand kuphela lo inkinga.
Into sine problem nayo abo 100 rand. Labo ke ababonakali awusheshi uyibone ukuthi fake.
Iphuma phi pho imali imbumbulu?
Ahlanganise lamaphepha kamnyama afake 100 rand yami phakathi from lapha ayiclean kwavela ama 100 rand ayi3.
Can I trust you, sister?
On man, I'm in the business of making money.
Ubese uthatha lo 100 rand lesimnike wona wawufaka emkhathini walamaphepha lamabili. Emva kwaloko uthethe stap lesimnyama wasigcobisa etikwa lamaphepha. Emva kwekuyomisa le mali ubese usibuyisela lo 100 rand lesimnikete wona ekuqaleni. Uphinze wasibhanisela ngalomunye 100 rand.
This Ford Cougar thing is becoming a